All right. Welcome back, you guys. It's the GameChanger here. I know it's been forever. Been kind of busy. I actually got like 4 or 5 tutorials shot. I lost the memory cards for it, so I just shot this from a few days ago. Once I found those, I got some great content dropping, but this is actually a great tutorial to drop. My boy just reached out to me. It's been 5 years. He wanted to cut his locks off. He watched a lot of my videos, and he graced me with the great opportunity to do the honors for him. So here we are. So if you look at his locks, what makes this a very interesting cut is that his locks didn't start off free form. I can tell by the locks himself that he actually used to get them twisted. I'm actually letting him do the honors of the first cut. I usually do that with all my clients. But the past few months, or maybe even a year, you can tell they've been very freeform. Freeform locks is when the roots are kind of natural. You don't get them twisted and they all lock together. So I'm about to stretch it out so you guys can see right here at the root. See how there's no definition and the root is like a little fro and they're locked all over it. Now this is actually my first time doing a freeform base haircut with the locks, because usually I'll cut each individual lock off and we go from there. I find out where locks at last, but with these, they lock in so many different places. At the end, I kind of gotta watch where I'm starting. He's also getting a fro with the high taper, which is more difficult because I want the fro to be even. So this cut had a few different complications, but as you can see, what I did was just basically stretch it, take my time. I found out where the lock locked at last. Tongue twister. So I found out where the lock locked at last. See, I stretch here, I go from there, and wherever there's locks or clumps in that hair, I'll cut that later when I shape the fro. So right now, whenever you're doing freeform locks, just get with the lock locked at last, and then just stretch. You see why I stretch? And surprisingly, right? So he has very thick roots, and they're very, very clean. I actually didn't have to wash his hair with this process. I just kind of spray water in the roots. We went from there. Very clean hair, very, very, very thick roots. So see, look right here. See how there's no definition on where one lock starts? I'm cutting off 3 locks here at one time, which is cool. I just kind of, when I go through the process of actually cutting the hair down, then I'll reshape and cut those locked roots off as I go, if that makes sense. I'm also doing something else very interesting with this. I did one side of the head at a time, as you can see. Now, I didn't do the final transition or the final look all at once, but I'm going to cut the locks off on one side just so you guys can kind of see what the before and after will look like. Spray it with water right here. After I spray it with water, then I'm going to actually start the cutting process. See how I'm trying to comb, and I still find more locks. And I'm very gentle. Be very gentle with the client's head. I'll do some combing, then I'll come back with my clippers to kind of cut some of those lock roots out. Then we'll start the high taper. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I'm going to explain in advance what I'm doing, so how to get the high taper look. Now, he's getting a high taper. What I'm doing is I'm starting at the top of the temple to the bottom or the top of the ear, right? I'm going to stretch the skin. He has thin roots, naturally thin roots. He also has some burn spots from where his last edge up. You can kind of tell where the clippers are kind of a little sharp, because his roots are very thin, that the barber or whoever tried to make it so sharp, but really he has naturally thin hair in certain areas that we have to work around. Another very important step with this haircut, he's had locks for so long. Now, usually when I do a transformation, most people are cutting the hair all the way off. He isn't. He wants a fro. Now, what's another important step is shaping the hairstyle. Now, if you guys watch any of my previous videos, I talk about debulking. This is a different type of debulking. So what I'm doing, the reason why I'm going so high, I have to shape this into a fro, because let's just say I was just taper the sides and the back. It wouldn't have any definition. The area of transition with that taper in the back, the hair around the ears, it would all be so bulky. So what I have to do is actually make sure that hair transitions nice and smooth from taper to fro. Remember, that hair is so even. If I'm trying to make sure I articulate this correctly, it's really bulky behind the ears and it's very bulky on the temple of the head, at the nape of the neck. So I have to do a transition to where the taper smoothly glides into the rest of the head, if that makes sense. You guys will see as I do it. because I'm actually going to be debulking quite a bit in this cut. So same technique. So I debulked before I made my primary line. See that? It's a thin spot right there. I don't want to take it out. I just want to smoothly fade that out. The way my fading technique goes is primary line, secondary line. I fade the primary line into the secondary line and the secondary line into the hair, which gives me, in turn, a nice smooth transition. So I debulk with the two, then I come back with my Andes Masters all the way open. Then I come back with my Wall Magic clip, cordless, and I kind of fade that primary line out. Then I come back with the 1.5, 2, and the 1 on my Magic clip to fade the secondary line in. Now you're probably saying, bro, why you use so many clippers? Because you can use one clipper. You might want to use two, but listen, if you want to make this job nice and smooth, a lot of young barbers, right, they get kind of flustered with haircuts, especially a haircut of this magnitude where it's so much hair. It's thick around the ears, it's dense, it's thin in certain spots. You deal with all that in this haircut. To keep yourself nice and unflustered, you want to have a nice system. So see right here, boom. See how I'm debulking behind the ears? All that hair is so thick. You want to make it a nice, smooth transition. You want that taper to be nice and smooth. You don't want bulky spots. I've seen tapered froze that look like a chili bowl in certain areas because you didn't do the proper debulking, right? I'm saying all that to say this. A nice system gives you a nice transition, which in turn gives you a nice haircut. So that's what I'm doing. See, I'm debulking with the grain. I'm doing all that I need to do to make sure that this transition is nice and smooth. So yes, I'm gonna be talking a lot. I wanna talk you through the process. Look, I'm light on the clippers, right? I'm using my offhand, which is the hand without clippers, to pull the skin away from the taper. After using the tool, see right here, got my 1.5. Look at my hand placement. My thumb is on the base or the chest of the clippers. The back of the neck is my index finger, and then it goes down from there. Smooth technique, right? No matter what haircut I'm doing, my technique and my method and my system stays the exact same. So you guys watch that. I'll be back. Debulk until it's time to fade in. Now, like I said, after I do this, I'll get to that when I come back. See you in a little bit. All right, so one thing you'll notice is that at each step, each clipper or each guard that I use, I do this right here, this type of tiger claw method where I'm combing the hair down. It's also, what I'm doing is basically it's a form of debulking, but with the guard that I'm about to actually fade with, because when you have a fro, the hair kind of stands up, and I use each level or each guard to lay the hair down so that it can kind of debulk towards that level that I'm about to cut, if that makes sense. It's just, like I said, it's just thinning out and laying the hair down. Not only am I cutting, transitioning, and I'm also training the hair. I'm retraining this hair to lay down because it wants to stand up. It's been up and natural for so long, I need it to lay down. So when you see me do that tiger claw method, I'm debulking and combing down. Just want to say that. You guys watch, I'll be back. All right, so one thing you'll notice is that at each step, each clipper or each guard that I use, I do this right here, this type of tiger claw method where I'm combing the hair down. So when you have a fro, the hair kind of stands up, and I use each level or each guard to lay the hair down so that it can kind of debulk towards that level that I'm about to cut, if that makes sense. It's just, like I said, it's just thinning out and laying the hair down. Not only am I cutting, transitioning, and I'm also training the hair. I'm retraining this hair to lay down because it wants to stand up. It's been up and natural for so long, I need it to lay down. So when you see me do that tiger claw method, I'm debulking and combing down. Just want to say that. You guys watch, I'll be back. All right, so one thing you'll notice is that at each step, each clipper or each guard that I use, I do this right here, this type of tiger claw method where I'm combing the hair down. So when you have a fro, the hair kind of stands up, and I use each level or each guard to lay the hair down so that it can kind of debulk towards that level that I'm about to cut, if that makes sense. It's just, like I said, it's just thinning out and laying the hair down. Not only am I cutting, transitioning, and I'm also training the hair. I'm retraining this hair to lay down because it wants to stand up. It's been up and natural for so long, I need it to lay down. So when you see me do that tiger claw method, I'm debulking and combing down. Another very important thing I want to get to real quick. Focus on fading the area. Don't worry about the hair that's sticking out or the ununiformity of the fro. There's going to be a part to shape the fro. Right now, the first step is focus on getting the first side of the taper in, then we'll shape. When you're doing these type of cuts, it's always easy to lose focus on that moment, that job at hand. Stay focused, handle that, then move on. Now, I'm actually about to edge them up on the side. Like I said, I did one side at a time, just doing something different. You gotta make it fun. Sometimes it get redundant doing the same thing, so I just want to play with it. Now, he has a lot of thin spots on his edge up. One right there in the corner that I'm working towards. The hair is very dense in the front, so I'm doing this debulking tiger claw method on the edge up. I want to lay that hair down. I'm also trying to make the hair look nice and uniform as far as density. See, thin spot right there in the corner too. I don't want to push that back. I want to keep all of that. You will be surprised at how much hair you actually have. And okay, razor moment. This is a little tip I use to make the taper look nice and clean at the finished product. You take all that excess hair off. You use the edges to go tiger claw method to make that line go away. Tip. Like I was saying, you'll be amazed at how much fuller the edge up will look once you edge it up. I'm doing something different here. I usually don't use the edges first, but you know, when the hair is longer, I want to give myself a baseline because the hair is standing up like I said. That's what I'm doing. So I use edgers, come back with the razor. You guys watch. I'll be back soon. But yeah, I'm using my thumb to pull that skin down. I want to make it nice and even. I pull away, but remember where I started, so I don't push the edge up back. Nice and even. I'm very gentle with my edgers. See you guys soon. So after getting the primary edge up in there with my edgers, I come back with my razor, gel and razor. Now it's time to make that thing nice and sharp. I like using quite a lot of bit of gel. The gel adds weight, which lays the hair down. I use the comb to actually flatten the hair out. Now it's time to get nice and crispity, crunchity, right? All right, so now I use a razor and comb. I also debulk with my comb. First, I'll start and just follow the lines nice and smooth. Tilt the razor at about 45 degrees. I don't have to apply a lot of look right here. See how I'm debulking? Because it's so dense right there. I thin it out to match. Not pushing it back, just thinning it out. I stretch the skin from the top and the bottom. Zoom in so you guys can see. And I use a new razor every time. Sometimes two razors on the edge up. And I just nice and smooth with it. All right, so you guys watch. Enjoy that, and it's time for the back. I'll see you in a little bit. Nice and smooth. See, just take your time, and then when I let the gel dry, I'll come back probably with my edgers again and just get those hairs to hang over. All right, so let's see how it's coming together. Looking good. I still got to shape this side up, and I also still have to hit it with the curl sponge. A few more things to do, but that's how it's looking so far. Then I come back, same process on this side. I won't show you this side because as you can see, the light kind of get dark, so it's always hard to show the taper on this side. That's kind of why I don't, because it's very dark on the camera on this side. We actually about to do this, then I'm about to head to the back. So see you guys in a little bit. Oh, well, a little bit was faster than I thought. Same process. Spray the hair. It's gonna be some very clumpy areas. Now this side, you're gonna see me do a lot of debulking with the two in the back. First, I'll come with my primary line with my gold FX Babulous clippers. But look how thick that hair is back there. Now, not only is it thick, I don't want to say density issues, but there's some density inconsistencies. That's what we're gonna say. meaning the hair is denser in certain areas and thinner in certain areas. Not a problem. I'll just have to use different fading techniques, very individualized to certain areas. Okay? Okay. But first we use this too. Ooh, it's very thick, beautiful thick hair back here. So now like I'm going high, but I'm not, because as I go up, I pull out. Go up and pull out like at a 45-degree angle. It's all about the transition of this. Look at those. It's very thick. I cut the locks off, but it's still some locky, I won't say locky areas in here. You know what I'm saying? So also behind the ear, I'm also transitioning behind the ear because this cut has to be nice and uniformed. Use my hand because there's so much hair in here that I have to tame it. I have to cut it off. So this, I'm gonna, you know what? Until I get to the density inconsistencies, I'm gonna do you guys a favor and not talk. So you guys watch and enjoy. I'll be back when the time is right. Look at that, boom, clumps, locks, all those locks after cutting the lock off that I didn't get. So, see you soon. Now, look at that burn mark. See that? That's from previous haircuts. It's okay, it happens. I think because his hair is thinner on the edges, the barber really wanted to impress and make a sharp haircut. You guys gotta avoid that. The hair is what the hair is. So do what the hair does. If that makes sense. I was gonna stay away a little longer, but then I was like, nah, I gotta teach. I'll be doing a disservice if I didn't teach, so I'm back. I couldn't resist. All right, so I'm debulking here. Same techniques. Same methods, so you guys can watch. And look at my hands. They're very loose. I watch a lot of young barbers. They choke the clippers. Look at that density, very dense right there. I'll debulk that again throughout just to wear that density area down. Be light with the clippers. Control the clippers. Take your time. The clippers will cut. You just have to stick to your system. Just because you cut harder, don't mean that you'll cut better. You'll actually run the risk of burning the client, nicking the client, irritating the skin. Be very loose with the clippers, loose with the strokes. Take your time. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so now we do the same thing on this side. Debulk, and now it's time to match the symmetry. Make it nice and even. Don't be intimidated by the thin spots. This is where a lot of guys decide to push the edge of back. Now listen, hey, I'm not against you. If you want to push the edge of back, if the client, I have clients who say sometimes push me back. Now, if that's not something that the client wants, clients are actually more okay than you think with the natural growth pattern of their hair or their edge up. And you can actually make that look a lot less bad if you just do the proper techniques. Debulk the edge up, make the edge up nice and crisp. You don't have to push it back. Again, if that's something the client is okay with, do it. But if they didn't state that, I guarantee you, if you wonder why they don't come back to you, they won't tell you why they don't come back to you. And it's just craftsmanship. It takes a special barber, a special talent to be able to craft a natural edge up. Anybody can push your edge up back and make that thing look crispity crunchy. But can you work with what the client has naturally? All right? So I'm about to shape this thing up because it's very thick. It's okay, it looks wild. It's okay. I'm about to make it look good. Same technique I'm doing right here on the side. I'll see you guys in a little bit, all right? I'm tripping, I forgot, we gotta edge the back up. Can't let them walk out like that. All right, let's get to it. Same thing, right? Take my time, I pull with the free hand, stretch the skin, and I come to the natural arch. I use the corner to go around that ear. Sometimes I also see a lot of guys who go high around their ear. Now, some edge ups actually grow high around the ear. If the edge up doesn't grow high around the ear, keep it low. You don't want the arch around the ear to go above the ear, if that makes sense. See right here, boom, I'm keeping it low. Use the corner, I rotate. I'm using my fingers to push. Can't be stiff, gotta be loose. All right, that comes with time, that comes with technique. It comes with patience, right? It comes with the mastery of the craft. See you guys in a little bit. Right, so this is where we bring it all together at. Taper's looking mighty fine, cuts looking nice and fine, but I gotta bring it together. This is where the professionalism comes. I can't let them walk out like that. The hair is uneven. I want to pick it out slowly, take my time, and now I shape it. See, no guard, free hand. And what I'm doing is I'm actually putting see those bulky areas right there, boom. I want it to transition smoothly. That's what I was telling you guys earlier. That's why I do most of that when I debulk, but then I come back freehand with the clippers and I bring it all together. Around the ears, the temple of the head, the nape of the neck, everything, the front of the edge up, the top of the head, I make it nice and even. Then I come add product, then I use the curl sponge. Shout out to my boy Andrew who works a few doors down, Home Style Cuts on Instagram, Home, HOLMES, Style Cuts. He gave me a fresh sponge because I didn't use them no more after COVID. And I gave him a nice style. But this is where you make the money at. I'm about to show him the mirror, you guys. I'm gonna let you guys see his reaction. Then I'll show you the before and after. Hope you guys enjoy, like, subscribe, but stick around, check his reaction now. It's been 5 years since we've seen stuff like this. See you in a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. You good?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, bro. I'm happy you like it.
Sure.
Is that how you want it?
Yeah, that's all.